Have you ever had a dream, the kind that you wake up and you just feel so bothered by it? Maybe a nightmare, or maybe somebody made you mad in your dream and you wake up and you're actually angry at that person even though it was a dream and it didn't really happen, but you think it happened. Or maybe you can't figure out why it just bothers you so much and you try to tell somebody else and they don't understand, but your heart's pounding and you're sweating and it just affects your entire day. Welcome to Daniel chapter 2. We're going to learn today about a king who had a dream that really bothered him. So I want you to go ahead and take this time to go ahead and read it for yourself. So we have King Nebuchadnezzar. He had this crazy dream, and he goes to these magicians, to these sorcerers, mediums, and he's asking them to do the impossible. And these people knew that it was impossible because what you have here in verse 11, it says, "Moreover, the thing which the king demands is difficult, and there is no one else who could declare it to the king except God's, whose dwelling place is not with mortal flesh." So basically they're saying that no human is going to be able to do what you're asking. Well, that ticked King Neb off. And he basically said, well, since you're not going to give me what I want, I'm going to have this decree where you're basically going to get killed. Word gets back in verse 13 to Daniel and his friends that the king wants them killed. And Daniel does something really interesting. But first I wanted to ask you this question. I wanted to ask, when these moments come, and you have things that are bothering you, where do you turn? Do you turn to other people? Do you turn to the news? Do you turn to the internet? Where do you go when you feel afraid? Maybe when you have bad news. Maybe you get sick and you start to research and you start to do all these things, right? I've been guilty of it, so I'm not making fun. What I'm saying is that sometimes as people, it's so easy to go to things that we know, or we go to the wisdom of the world, or we go to the wisdom of our friends or people instead of going to God first. So that's the first thing that I wanted to ask you is, when things happen, where do you turn? The second thing that I see here is I see that Daniel went straight to the official and he was really humble. He didn't go to him and said, hey, guess what? I have the answer. He said, hey, I'm asking for time, because he knew that he needed to seek God through prayer in this matter. He gathered his friends and they started to pray. And they started to seek God, and they said, God, we know that we can't do this without you, and we need your wisdom. And I know that a lot of times it's easy to overlook prayer, and I don't know why we do that in our society. It's like, oh, we'll pray about it. But it's literally how we connect to the Lord. And through this prayer, there's an actual miracle. A miracle happened. Not only was Daniel able to repeat or to remind the king of the dream, but he was also able to interpret it from him. The third thing is that Daniel gave God glory. Daniel was given this in verse 19. It says, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, let the name of God be blessed forever and ever. And he goes on and on and on, and he's praising the Lord for giving him this wisdom that essentially saved he and his friends' lives. What's really cool about this is that Daniel went and he explained this dream, and through this, the king was able to see God's greatness and God's power and God's glory. And I want to ask you is, could maybe by chance somebody could have made something up? One of the mediums could have made up this crazy story, but Daniel didn't try to do that. Daniel literally believed, and he had faith that he would go to the Lord, and he didn't demand it, he requested. He went before the Lord humbly. And I just find it so honorable about Daniel's character that he didn't ever once take credit for what God did. He knew in his heart that it wasn't his abilities, that it was God's abilities. So I just wanted to remind you guys today that no matter what, if there's something troubling you, if there's something bothering you, remember to take it to the Lord. Remember to take it to prayer. Ask God to bring you that peace. Ask God to show you whatever it is that he wants to show you through this trial or this tribulation or whatever it is that you're going through. And finally, don't forget to give God the glory, because he deserves every bit of it. I love you guys so much. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for Daniel chapter 3. If you have questions, make sure you comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this study. There's so much more to learn, and I just can't do it in this short amount of time. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like it. I'll see you soon.